The docking rings of Galactic Central Station pulsed with energy as Captain Thomas Reed guided his ship toward the assigned bay. The human vessel Perseverance looked out of place among the gleaming alien crafts, like an old truck parked among luxury sports cars. Reed watched through the viewport as a group of station officials gathered to meet his ship. Their tall, slender forms and shimmering skin marked them as members of the dominant Altarian species. Even from this distance, he could see their expressions of surprise and barely hidden disdain. "Docking complete, Captain," reported his pilot, Jack Wilson, a stocky man with weather-beaten features. "Local gravity and atmosphere synchronized." Reed nodded. "Prepare for inspection. They'll be looking for any excuse to turn us away." The Perseverance settled into its berth with a series of mechanical clanks that echoed through the hull. While alien vessels connected to the station through silent, seamless energy fields, the human ship relied on physical docking clamps and pressure seals. "Primitive," muttered the lead Altarian official named Drawl as the airlock cycled open. His translator badge conveyed his words clearly to Reed. "I haven't seen manual airlocks in centuries." Reed stepped forward, offering a formal bow. "Captain Thomas Reed of Earth, requesting permission to register for the interstellar trade route trials." Drawl's large iridescent eyes widened. "You can't be serious. This vessel intends to compete." The officials behind him exchanged glances, some covering their mouths to hide their amusement. "The Perseverance meets all minimum requirements as outlined in the Galactic Charter," Reed replied calmly. "Article 17 states that all member worlds may participate regardless of technological development stage." Drawl circled the docking area, running a scanning device over the ship's hull. Titanium alloys, fusion propulsion, chemical backup thrusters. Each observation was delivered with increasing incredulity. "My personal transport has more advanced systems than this entire vessel." Reed stood firm, hands clasped behind his back. "We've traveled 20 light years to participate. We have the right." "Indeed you do," Drawl said with a thin smile. "Though I fail to see the point in such an exercise. Your technology is generations behind the Nexary's quantum drives or the Valurian gravity manipulators." A small crowd had gathered now, alien visitors and station personnel alike, drawn by the unusual sight of the human ship. The Perseverance sat low and heavy in its berth, its hull marked with evidence of recent repairs and years of service. Compared to the floating, translucent vessels nearby, it looked like it belonged in a history museum. "A guided tour, perhaps?" asked a blue-skinned official. "I've never seen functioning fossil technology." Reed felt his jaw tighten, but maintained his diplomatic composure. "Our vessel's internal systems are classified by Earth Command. I can show you the common areas only." This brought more barely concealed laughter from the gathering. What secrets could possibly exist in such rudimentary engineering? Drawl asked, gesturing toward the ship's visible cooling vents and external communication array. "You still use radiation to dissipate heat?" Reed led the small delegation through the main airlock into the ship's forward corridor. The aliens' expressions shifted from mockery to genuine curiosity as they observed the interior. Unlike their ships, which featured seamless, flowing spaces, the Perseverance was compartmentalized, with clearly defined sections and numerous manual controls. "Why do you need so many backup systems?" asked an official, pointing to duplicate control panels. "Redundancy ensures survival," Reed answered simply. Drawl paused at a maintenance hatch where engineer Marcus Cole was replacing the circuit board by hand. "You make repairs while in transit, without automated systems." Cole looked up from his work, wiping sweat from his brow. "Best way to know your ship is to fix her yourself." The tour concluded in the observation lounge, where Reed formally submitted the registration documents for the trials. Drawl accepted them with obvious reluctance. "The trials begin in 3 standard cycles," he informed Reed. "We'll assign you the outermost starting position, of course." "For safety reasons." Reed nodded, understanding the implication. They were placing him where his inevitable failure would least disrupt the real competitors. "We'll be ready," he said simply. As the officials departed, whispering and glancing back at the human vessel, Reed stood alone at the viewport. Beyond the station lay the vast trial course that would determine new trade routes for the next decade. "They don't know what they're looking at," came Engineer Cole's voice from behind him. Reed smiled slightly. "And that's exactly how we want it." The great chamber of the Galactic Council buzzed with conversation as representatives from 17 spacefaring civilizations gathered for the trial briefing. Captain Reed stood alone at the human delegation's table, aware of the sidelong glances and whispered comments directed his way. Admiral Vex, the chief trial administrator, stepped onto the central platform. His metallic exoskeleton gleamed under the chamber's lights, each movement accompanied by a faint hum of energy. "Silence," Vex commanded, and the room immediately quieted. "The Centennial Trade Route trials will commence tomorrow at first light. These trials determine which civilizations earn the right to establish new commercial pathways through protected space." Holographic displays activated around the chamber, showing the trial course. A treacherous path through 3 different hazardous regions of space. Phase 1. Navigation through the Crimson Nebula, Vex continued. Phase 2. Endurance in the cold void, where temperatures approach absolute zero. Phase 3. Defense capabilities against simulated pirate attacks. Reed studied the course carefully, noting that the path assigned to Earth, displayed in red, took the most challenging route through each phase. "Of course they gave us the worst path," he muttered to himself. A tall, willowy alien with translucent skin approached Reed's table. "First time competing?" she asked, her voice melodic. "First time for humanity," Reed answered. "You?" "Third trial for the Lumen," she said. "I am Navigator Elia. My people have secured minor routes in previous trials." She glanced at the display. "Your assigned path is problematic." Reed shrugged. "We expected nothing less." Admiral Vex continued the briefing, detailing scoring metrics and safety protocols. "Ships will be evaluated on speed, efficiency, and resource consumption. Bonus points for innovation and unexpected problem solving." Drull stood from his position at the administrative table. "A point of order, Admiral. Should we perhaps implement a handicap system for less developed civilizations?" His eyes fixed on Reed. "For fairness." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber. Reed raised his hand. "Earth requires no special consideration. We'll compete under standard rules." This brought laughter from several delegations. A bulky reptilian representative called out, "The human's pride will be his downfall." Admiral Vex raised a metallic hand for quiet. "The human's request is noted. Standard rules apply to all participants." After the briefing, Reed found himself surrounded by representatives from the leading civilizations. Their sleek, form-fitting uniforms contrasted with his practical Earth Command jumpsuit. "Captain Reed," rumbled Gorv, the reptilian delegate, "my technicians examined your vessel's external readings. Your propulsion system is remarkably quaint." "Fusion drive gets us where we need to go," Reed replied evenly. "Our ships use quantum folding," Gorb said, his scaled lips pulling back in what might have been a smile. "We don't so much move through space as rearrange it." A tall insectoid representative clicked her mandibles. "The betting pools have humans at 200-to-1 odds against completing the first phase." Reed raised an eyebrow. "Might be worth placing a small wager then." Back aboard the Perseverance Reed found his crew gathered in the mess hall. He outlined the trial parameters while Engineer Cole projected the course onto the wall. "They've given us the scenic route," Cole observed, pointing at several particularly dangerous sections. Navigation Officer Lisa Bell shook her head. "The radiation in this section of the nebula is twice what the others will face. And the temperature gradient here," added Science Officer James Park, "drops far more rapidly than the standard paths." Reed looked at each crew member in turn. Humans were newcomers to the galactic stage, having achieved faster-than-light travel only 30 years earlier. Every person aboard had volunteered knowing they would face prejudice and dismissal. "They expect us to fail," Reed said simply. "They've designed our path to ensure it." "Then they should have studied their history," said Cole with a grin. "Humans have a habit of doing the impossible when backed into a corner." Reed unfolded a physical map, something that had drawn laughs from the alien representatives, and laid it on the table. "We have advantages they don't understand." "Like what, Captain?" asked Bell. "For one, they rely too heavily on automated systems. Their ships are marvels of technology, but lack operational flexibility." Reed traced a line through the nebula. "And two, they've never had to solve problems with limited resources." The crew gathered closer as Reed outlined his strategy for each phase of the trials. "It won't be pretty," he concluded. "But we don't need pretty. We need possible." As the crew dispersed to make final preparations, Reed remained at the table, studying the map. Through the viewport, he could see the gleaming alien vessels in their berths, their hulls pulsing with exotic energies. "Underestimate us at your peril," he whispered to the distant ships. Engineer Marcus Cole wiped sweat from his forehead as he tightened the last bolt on the auxiliary cooling system. The engine room of the Perseverance hummed with activity as the human crew made final preparations for tomorrow's trials. "How's it looking, Cole?" asked Captain Reed, ducking under a low-hanging pipe as he entered. Cole patted the metal housing affectionately. "She's ready, Captain. Not pretty, but ready." Reed nodded, surveying the engine room. Unlike the seamless, almost artistic machinery of alien vessels, the Perseverance's engine compartment was a practical maze of pipes, cables, and accessible components. Everything labeled, everything reachable by human hands. "We've got visitors," Reed said quietly. "Official inspection team. I've been stalling them, but regulations say they get a basic tour." Cole grinned. "Don't show them our best tricks." Minutes later, a delegation of 5 alien officials entered the engine room, led by Drawl. Their expressions ranged from curiosity to poorly concealed disdain. "This is chaotic," observed a tall, crystalline being, pointing at the network of pipes and ducts. "Where is your matter-energy conversion chamber?" "Don't have one," Cole answered, wiping his hands on a rag. "Fusion reactor powers the main drive. Chemical thrusters for backup and maneuvering." The aliens exchanged glances. One of them, a blue-skinned technician, consulted a handheld device. "Your efficiency rating is barely above minimum qualification standards," the technician noted. "You'll consume nearly 8 times the fuel of advanced vessels." Reed shrugged. "We'll reach the finish line all the same." Drawl approached a workbench where spare parts lay organized in labeled compartments. "Mechanical replacements. You repair systems manually during flight. Every part on this ship can be fixed or replaced by hand," Cole explained. "No specialized fabrication required." The crystalline being made a sound like tinkling glass. Laughter, perhaps. "On our vessels, damaged components simply regrow." "Must be nice," Cole replied. "Must also be hell when your regrowth systems fail." The inspection continued through the navigation deck, where Officer Bell was running simulations of the nebula passage. Unlike the holographic displays on alien ships, the Perseverance used a combination of screens and physical controls. "You use manual piloting?" asked the blue technician, watching Bell's hands move across the controls. "For critical maneuvers, yes," Bell answered without looking up. "Computer assists human decisions." "Inefficient," the technician declared. "Our navigation cores process millions of variables per second." Bell finally turned to face the alien. "And when your navigation core encounters something it doesn't recognize?" The technician didn't answer. After the inspection team departed, Reed gathered his senior crew in the secure briefing room, a simple compartment with a metal table and chairs, deliberately unimpressive to outside observers. They saw exactly what we wanted them to see, Reed said, activating the room's privacy field, one of the few truly advanced systems on the ship. Science Officer Park opened a hidden panel in the wall, revealing a sophisticated computer system unlike anything the inspection team had been shown. Hybrid computing fully online, Park reported. Quantum core for calculations, hardened analog systems for backup. What about the shield modifications? Reed asked. Cole brought up a diagram on the screen. Complete. We've layered conventional shields with the electromagnetic mesh. If it works as designed, we'll have double the protection of standard configurations. Reed nodded with satisfaction. And the nebula countermeasures? Ready, Bell confirmed. While everyone else will be navigating around radiation pockets, we'll be going straight through them. But how? Asked the ship's doctor, Alan Wilson. The radiation levels in those areas are lethal. Park smiled. Not with our hull composition. The layered titanium lead alloy we developed absorbs radiation patterns that alien sensors can't even detect. Their ships avoid these areas because their hulls would deteriorate instantly. And the best part, added Cole, is that we're actually collecting that radiation for additional power. Reed surveyed his team with pride. Human engineering had taken a different evolutionary path than alien technology. While galactic civilizations had pursued elegant theoretical solutions, humans had developed practical, robust systems, born from centuries of overcoming limitations. They're looking at our ship with their advanced technology and seeing outdated machinery, Reed said. They don't understand that what looks primitive to them is actually purpose-built for survival. Should we tell them? Asked Bell with a smile. Reed shook his head. Tomorrow, we won't need to tell them. We'll show them. As the crew dispersed to their final preparations, Reed remained in the briefing room, studying the trial course once more. The Perseverance might not be the fastest or most efficient vessel in the competition, but it had something the others lacked. The culmination of human ingenuity forged through struggle and necessity. Sometimes, Reed murmured to himself, the oldest solutions are the best ones. The launch sequence for the galactic trade route trials began with remarkable precision. 17 vessels from across the known galaxy hovered in formation above Galactic Central Station, their hulls gleaming in the light of the nearby binary stars. The Perseverance occupied the outermost position, its weathered exterior standing out among the sleek alien craft. All vessels, prepare for trial commencement, announced Admiral Vex through the communication network. Course coordinates are locked. May the most worthy civilizations prevail. On the bridge of the Perseverance Captain Reed sat calmly in the command chair, his crew at their stations. Through the view screen, he watched as the alien ship's exotic propulsion systems activated, some disappearing in flashes of light, others seeming to fold space around themselves. Their speed is impressive, Navigation Officer Bell noted. Speed isn't everything, Reed replied, especially where we're going. The Perseverance's engines roared to life, pushing the vessel forward with conventional thrust. As the other ships rapidly pulled ahead, the monitoring station filled with chatter. The human vessel appears to be struggling already, commented an announcer for the galactic broadcast. No surprise given their rudimentary technology. Reed ignored the commentary. Status report. All systems nominal, reported Engineer Cole from his station. Radiation sensors active. Science Officer Park suddenly straightened in his chair. Captain, I'm detecting unusual solar activity from the binary system. Reed turned. Define unusual. Massive energy buildup in the stellar cores, Park said, his fingers flying over the controls. Readings suggest an imminent. Before he could finish, a blinding flash erupted from the larger star. A solar flare of unprecedented magnitude shot outward, directly toward the trial course. Emergency alert to all vessels. Came Admiral Vex's voice over the comm. Unexpected stellar event detected. Radiation surge imminent. Reed's response was immediate. Activate electromagnetic shielding. Full power to the radiation absorption grid. The crew moved with practiced efficiency, engaging systems that had been hidden from the inspection teams. Outside, the wave of stellar radiation slammed into the trial area. The effects were immediate and devastating. 3 of the alien vessels nearest to the flare simply went dark, their delicate systems overloaded. Several others began moving erratically, their navigation systems compromised. "The Altarian flagship is losing propulsion control," reported Bell, monitoring the other ships. "The Lumen vessel has lost all power." Through the view screen, Reed watched as the sleek ships that had mocked his primitive vessel now drifted helplessly. Their advanced systems, optimized for efficiency rather than resilience, had failed against the unexpected natural disaster. "Their shields are designed for micrometeorites and conventional radiation," Park explained, "not for this magnitude of solar activity." Reed made a quick decision. Change of plans. "Bring us alongside the Altarian flagship. Prepare boarding teams with emergency repair kits." "Captain," Cole interjected, "that's not part of the trial." "No," Reed agreed, "but it's the right thing to do." The Perseverance adjusted course, its robust shielding handling the radiation storm with remarkable effectiveness. As they approached the drifting Altarian vessel, Reed could see the confusion through the ship's transparent hull. Emergency lights flickered as the crew struggled with failing systems. "Open a channel," Reed ordered. The face of Drawl appeared on the screen, his usual composure replaced by barely controlled panic. "Human vessel, our main systems are failing. Life support is running on emergency power. We're preparing to send assistance," Reed replied calmly. "Our crew can help stabilize your systems." Disbelief crossed Drawl's features. "Your vessel still functions in this radiation. Our shielding was built for worse conditions than this," Reed explained. "Docking in 3 minutes." As the Perseverance maneuvered alongside the stricken alien ship, other damaged vessels became visible through the radiation haze. The mighty Nexari cruiser drifted with its quantum drive offline. The Valurian transport tumbled slowly, its gravity manipulators disabled. "Admiral Vex is calling all functioning vessels," Communications Officer Taylor reported. "The trials are suspended pending emergency response." Reed nodded. "Tell him we're already on it, and inform the other human ships in the sector to converge on these coordinates. We're going to need all hands." The docking procedure completed with a solid thunk of metal on metal, the Perseverance's physical docking clamps attaching to the Altarian vessel. As the first team of engineers prepared to board, Reed received an incoming transmission from Admiral Vex himself. "Captain Reed," the Admiral said, his metallic voice uncharacteristically humble, "how is your vessel still operational?" Reed smiled slightly. "Sometimes, Admiral, older technology has its advantages, especially when it was designed to survive the worst conditions, not just the expected ones." 3 days after the solar flare incident, the captains and representatives of all 17 competing vessels gathered in the Emergency Council chamber aboard Galactic Central Station. The mood was somber as Admiral Vex addressed the assembly. "The damage assessment is complete," Vex announced, his metallic exoskeleton showing signs of hasty repair. 11 vessels suffered critical systems failure. 4 experienced moderate damage. 1 withdrew from the competition. All eyes turned to the human delegation, where Captain Reed sat quietly with Engineer Cole. "And 1 vessel," Vex continued, "remained fully operational and assisted in rescue efforts." Murmurs spread through the chamber. The mockery that had previously been directed at the Perseverance was notably absent. "The trial course has been compromised," Vex stated. "Therefore, the Council proposes a new challenge." A holographic display activated, showing a treacherous region of space, known throughout the galaxy as the Scylla asteroid field, a dense cluster of spinning, colliding rocks and ice fragments. Beyond it lay an ominous red cloud labeled Charybdis Radiation Belt. 2 trials in 1, Vex explained. First, navigation through the asteroid field testing piloting skill. Second, endurance in the radiation belt testing vessel integrity. Thrall, whose ship had been among the first rescued by the Perseverance stood up. Admiral, with respect, several vessels are still undergoing repairs, mine included. Those unable to participate may withdraw without penalty. Vex replied. The trials will proceed in 2 standard days. As the meeting adjourned, Reed found himself approached by Navigator Elia of the Lumen. Your vessel saved 3 of my crew, she said softly. We would have lost life support within hours. Reed nodded. Anyone would have done the same. But no one else could, she replied. Their systems were as disabled as ours. She hesitated. I've withdrawn from the competition. My ship's sensor array was completely fried. I'm sorry to hear that, Reed said. Elia's translucent features formed what might have been a smile. Don't be. I've placed a substantial bet on the Perseverance to win. Back aboard his ship, Reed found his crew already preparing for the new challenge. In the main cargo bay, they had constructed a makeshift training course simulating asteroid navigation. Bell's been running simulations for 6 hours straight, Cole reported as they watched the navigation officer maneuver a small drone through the obstacle course. She says the asteroid density is twice what we trained for on Earth. And the radiation belt? Reed asked. Cole's expression grew serious. It's bad, Captain. The radiation type is similar to what we encountered in the solar flare, but sustained exposure would be. Would be what? Reed pressed. Fatal to most ships, Cole finished. Their hulls simply can't handle that kind of radiation for extended periods. Reed considered this information. But we can. With modifications, Cole confirmed. I've been reinforcing our absorption grid. If we can route the energy properly, we might even be able to use it to boost our shields. 2 days later, only 7 ships lined up for the new trial. The others remained in dock, their advanced systems still under repair or deemed too vulnerable for the challenge ahead. Admiral Vex's voice echoed through the communication network. The modified trials begin now. May wisdom guide your journey. The remaining vessels shot forward, each taking a different approach to the asteroid field. The Nexeri ship, its quantum drive partially restored, attempted to phase through the smaller rocks, but had to constantly adjust when faced with larger asteroids. The reptilian Gord's vessel fired constantly, blasting obstacles from its path in impressive but energy-consuming displays. The Perseverance took a different approach. Bell guided the ship in a seemingly random pattern, sometimes brushing so close to asteroids that observers gasped. She's using the gravitational pull of the larger rocks to slingshot around them, Park explained as Reed watched from the command chair. Minimal energy expenditure, maximum efficiency. As they reached the midpoint of the asteroid field, 2 competing ships collided with debris and had to withdraw, their delicate navigation systems overwhelmed by the chaotic environment. We're approaching the radiation belt, Park announced. Levels are rising rapidly. Reed nodded. Activate the absorption grid. Full power to adaptive shielding. The Perseverance entered the crimson cloud, its modified hull beginning to glow as it encountered the intense radiation. Behind them, another ship abruptly reversed course, unwilling to risk the radiation exposure. Hull temperature rising, reported Cole from engineering. But within tolerance, the absorption grid is functioning at 94% efficiency. Through the view screen, Reed could see the remaining alien vessels struggling. Their shields flickered under the radiation assault, brilliant displays of energy that looked impressive but signaled dangerous power consumption. They're burning through their reserves, Cole noted. Advanced technology, but not designed for sustained stress. Reed leaned forward in his chair. Hold course. Steady as she goes. As the Perseverance pushed deeper into the radiation belt, its hull continued to absorb what other ships desperately tried to deflect, turning hazard into advantage with each passing moment. Halfway through the Charybdis radiation belt, only 3 vessels remained in the competition. The Perseverance *, Gorb's reptilian battlecruiser, and a sleek Nexari science vessel. The other competitors had either withdrawn or fallen back to safer distances. Captain Reed studied the sensor readings with growing concern. His ship was performing admirably, but the radiation levels were intensifying beyond even their preparations. "Status report," he called, as the ship shuddered slightly. "Hull integrity at 82%, reported Cole from the engineering station. Absorption grid is approaching maximum capacity." Science Officer Park looked up from his console. "Captain, I'm detecting unusual energy fluctuations ahead. Something's not right about this radiation pattern." Before Reed could respond, the emergency communication channel burst to life with a distress signal. The message came through broken and distorted. "Civilian transport. Dimensional. Critical. No response from Council." Reed immediately ordered, "Trace that signal." Communications Officer Taylor worked quickly. "It's coming from beyond the radiation belt, sir. Approximately 12 kilometers off our current trajectory. There shouldn't be any civilian vessels in this sector during the trials," Park noted, frowning at his readings. Reed made his decision instantly. "Change course to intercept. Full power to engines." "Captain," Bell objected, "that will take us off the trial path. We'll forfeit the competition." "I'm aware," Reed replied calmly. "Do it anyway." As the Perseverance altered course, they received a communication from Admiral Vex. His metallic face appeared on the main screen, his expression unreadable. "Human vessel, you are deviating from the assigned trial path. Return immediately or face disqualification." Reed leaned forward. "Admiral, we've detected a distress signal. We are obligated by space law to investigate." "The Council monitoring systems show no such signal," Vex replied coldly. "This appears to be a human deception to avoid the most dangerous section of the trial." Reed's expression hardened. "Check your systems again, Admiral. There's a ship in trouble out there, and we're going to help them. Perseverance out." He cut the transmission as the ship pushed through a particularly dense patch of radiation. Through the view screen, he could now see what the sensors had detected: a civilian transport vessel trapped in what appeared to be a rippling distortion in space. "What am I looking at, Park?" Reed demanded. The science officer studied his readings with wide eyes. "It's a dimensional rift, sir. Extremely rare phenomenon. That ship is partially phased between normal space and subspace." "Can we help them?" Reed asked. "Conventional tractor beams would be useless," Park explained. "The energy would dissipate in the rift." Reed turned to Engineer Cole. "Options." Cole thought for a moment, then smiled slowly. "We use cables. Physical cables." "Explain," Reed ordered. "The rift affects energy fields and advanced technology, but basic physical objects should pass through unaffected," Cole said. "We still have those high-tension carbon fiber cables in Cargo Bay 3, the ones the inspection team laughed at." Reed nodded. "Make it happen." As the Perseverance approached the rift, they could see the civilian transport more clearly. It was a passenger vessel with lumen markings, its hull flickering in and out of normal space as the rift fluctuated. Through the radiation belt behind them, Reed could see that Gorb's vessel had also diverted from the course and was following them, while the Nexari ship continued on the trial path. "Gorb is hailing us," Taylor reported. The reptilian captain's scaled face appeared on the screen. "Human, what madness is this? There is a dimensional rift ahead." "There's also a civilian ship in trouble," Reed replied. Gorb's eyes narrowed. "The Council reports no distress signal." "Look for yourself," Reed suggested. There was a pause as Gorb presumably checked his own sensors. His expression changed. "By the Ancient Ones, how did the Council miss this?" "Their sensors likely can't penetrate this type of radiation," Park explained. "Our primitive analog systems aren't affected by the dimensional interference." Gorb's vessel took up position at a safe distance as the Perseverance maneuvered closer to the rift. From Cargo Bay 3, Cole and a team of engineers prepared the carbon fiber cables, attaching them to magnetic grapples. "This is insane," muttered one of the engineers. "We're going to try to pull a ship out of a dimensional rift with ropes." Cole grinned. "Sometimes the old ways work when nothing else will." The cargo bay doors opened, exposing the team to the eerie glow of the rift. With precision targeting, they fired the grapples toward the fluctuating vessel. Two missed, passing through the ship as it phased in and out. The third connected with a solid thunk, the cable going taut. "We got contact," Cole reported triumphantly. "Beginning extraction procedure." As the Perseverance's engines strained against the pull of the rift, the truth about human engineering revealed itself not in theoretical perfection, but in practical effectiveness, where it mattered most. The Grand Assembly Hall of Galactic Central Station was filled to capacity. Representatives from every spacefaring civilization stood as Captain Thomas Reed and the crew of the Perseverance entered. The applause that greeted them was genuine, a far cry from the mockery they had faced just days earlier. Admiral Vex stood at the central podium, his metallic exoskeleton polished to a brilliant shine for the ceremony. Beside him sat the rescued passengers from the Lumen transport vessel, still showing signs of their ordeal but alive and recovering. "We gather today," Vex began, his voice resonating through the hall, "to conclude the galactic trade route trials and recognize extraordinary achievement." Reed stood tall in his simple Earth Command uniform, his crew lined up beside him. Engineer Cole had insisted on wearing his work clothes, complete with tool belt, a silent statement about human priorities. The official winner of the trials, having completed the course with the highest efficiency rating, is the Nexary science vessel Quantum Voyager *, Vex announced. The Nexary captain stepped forward to accept a crystalline trophy, nodding respectfully toward Reed as he returned to his delegation. "However," Vex continued, "the Council has unanimously decided to award the most coveted trade routes to Earth and the human vessel Perseverance *. Murmurs of surprise and agreement rippled through the crowd. Reed stepped forward, momentarily confused. "This is not a courtesy," Vex clarified. "It is recognition that the purpose of these trials is to identify vessels that ensure the safety and reliability of galactic commerce." The Perseverance demonstrated these qualities not by winning a race, but by saving lives when conventional approaches failed. Reed accepted a data crystal containing the trade route authorizations. "On behalf of Earth and her colonies, we are honored." Vex raised a metallic hand. "Captain Reed has agreed to address the assembly regarding the rescue operation." Taking the podium, Reed looked out at the gathered representatives, many of whom had ridiculed his ship just days before. "The rescue was not remarkable," Reed began. "At least, not from a human perspective. We saw a problem and used available tools to solve it. That's what human engineering has always been about." He activated the display behind him, showing schematics of the Perseverance *. "Many of you saw our ship as primitive," Reed continued. "You weren't entirely wrong. We don't have quantum drives or self-repairing hulls. But human engineering follows a different philosophy, one born from centuries of overcoming challenges with limited resources." The display shifted to show the carbon fiber cables that had rescued the Lumen transport. "Where advanced civilizations design technology to avoid problems, we design ours to survive them," Reed explained. "We build redundant systems because we expect failures. We use physical backups because energy can be disrupted. We train our crews to repair systems manually because automation can malfunction." Captain Gorb of the reptilian battlecruiser stood. "The human vessel absorbed radiation that disabled our advanced shields," he acknowledged. "How is this possible?" Engineer Cole stepped forward. "Your shields are designed to deflect energy," he explained. "Perfect in theory, but they consume massive power to maintain. Our hull absorbs radiation instead, converting it to usable energy. Less elegant, but more practical in extended exposure. Navigator Elia of the Lumen approached Reed after he returned to his crew. "Your ropes saved 37 lives," she said softly. "Our most advanced ships wouldn't have attempted the rescue." "They couldn't have," Park added. "The dimensional rift disrupted energy fields. Only physical objects could pass through unaffected." Drawl, once the most vocal critic of human technology, approached Reed with a formal bow. "Captain, the Altarian Federation requests permission to send engineering observers to study your vessel's systems." Reed smiled. "We would welcome the exchange of knowledge. Perhaps a joint engineering program." Admiral Vex concluded the ceremony with an unexpected announcement. "The Council has revised the galactic engineering standards to incorporate what we now call practical resilience principles, a recognition that theoretical perfection must be balanced with practical effectiveness." As the assembly dispersed, Reed stood with his crew at a viewport overlooking the docking bay. The Perseverance sat among the alien vessels, no longer looking out of place but respected for what it represented. "They're studying our ship," Bell noted, pointing to groups of alien engineers circling the human vessel. "And we'll learn from them," Reed replied. "That's the beauty of different approaches. We each solve problems the others can't." Engineer Cole leaned against the viewport railing. "Not bad for a bunch of primitives with a flying metal box, eh, Captain?" Reed smiled as he watched a team of Altarian engineers examining the Perseverance's hull with newfound respect. "Sometimes the old ways are best, not because they're perfect, but because they work when nothing else will." The Perseverance would depart for Earth the next day, carrying not just trade route authorizations, but something more valuable: the recognition that different didn't mean inferior. Sometimes it meant exactly what was needed when theory met reality.